If you have a phone, if you could put it on silent or vibrate. This is the regular meeting agenda of the Design and Historic Review Commission. It is Thursday, April 17th at 10 o'clock. We will call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. First order of business is public comment. Issues or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, and begin by stating their name and address or single member district number. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes.
We do not have public comment.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at it? Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion for approval. Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. We'll now move to our regular agenda, RC 25-05, 12 East Tuick, a request to remove temporary signage and replace it with a metal signage structure that features placards and current occupant information.
Good morning. Kim
Morning.
Garmany, Planning and Development Services Administrator. This is in District 3 in the downtown neighborhood. The zoning is Central Business District. This sign could technically be administrative, but because of the unique design, we did decide to bring it here before you all. So this is the location of the sign. And there is the size. The reason that it would be administrative if it were just like a traditional sign is because it is under 50 square feet, and this one is 45. But it looks like this. It does look like a sign that I believe has been installed before, but I haven't seen one. The applicant said that he did install another one, and so maybe you have seen one downtown, but this was my first time to see it, so I wanted you all to see it also. Because the placards for the different businesses will be interchangeable. So as new businesses come and go, they'll be able to move those and keep that current. So that's something a little different than, you know, some of our signs that don't move at all or have any sort of variables. It will be made out of that black steel, and behind it you'll be able to see the exposed brick. We're recommending approval of this structure with our 2 normal conditions that they do need to follow what they said here and that they need to get the correct permits. Our 3rd condition is that they remove all existing banners to make a nice clear slate for that new sign.
Any questions for staff? Okay, thank you. We open it up for, there's no public comment? No public comment, okay. Open for discussion. I think it looks good. I think it's just gonna be like a metal frame. I think the best part about it is gonna eliminate all those banners they have out front. It'll clean it up a lot better.
And it leaves the exposed brick showing.
Yes. Can I get a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We will now move to our second case, CA 25-03, amended 206 and 210 South Chadbourn Street. A request for approval for the exterior remodel of both 206 and 210 South Chadbourn Street, formerly known as the Dead Horse, that will be divided into 2 different bars.
Good morning, Karen Putnam, Planner and Training. So this is the same case that y'all saw last month with the Vita at 206 South Chadbourn and then the Tipsy Pink at 210 South Chadbourn. It is in the Central Business District. And they are both the historic overlay. This is the new representation of Vita, and they are requesting the colors to be Dark Night and Naval. They are not on the historic palette, but they do correlate with their vision a lot better. And then they are wanting to put this awning right here, which they do have an encroachment agreement application in for it. It'll go along the top here, and then these little orange dots that you're seeing is the canned lighting And then Vita up here will be this metallic gold, and it will be backlit. And then that's the colors, and then the trim on the bottom part of the Vita right here will be the black. And that's an example of the lighting they'll use, what the metallic gold for Vita will look like. And then this is the construction detail for the awning. And underneath, this one is showing just a lighting concept, but they will be painting the underneath black. All right. Do you have any questions on the Vita before we move up to Tipsy Pink?
I have a question on the canopy. Is that the material that's going to be underneath the canopy? I
The
guess we can ask the
applicant,
applicants. I noticed they brought something in.
yes, they brought
That's
the
not the
material.
same
to present.
material. That's our panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just to show the lighting concept,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Go back one slide and look at the 3D, the axon of the canopy there. No, they don't, no.
Oh, sorry.
That one right, yeah.
All right.
Does that canopy have, I can't tell if it, I see, if it has a void space for the lighting or if it's,
Well, It
There's-
looks like it is right there. See that second where it says wall attachment? Because they'll just have to use those thin 3/4 inch cans. They can't put a
no,
regular
yeah, you're right.
housing.
So there'd be, so like on that, yeah, we're seeing that wall attachment. Then
Yes.
that sloped member, that would be a steel member that then on the underside of that, they could anchor a soffit panel to, it looks like. Is that what you're saying?
Looks like they're gonna have to, yeah. Looks like it's gonna have a panel on the top and the bottom instead of one single panel.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
to install some lighting.
yeah.
And they will have to have it cut so that the lights can go in there.
It's gotta have some way to get water off of that too.
Is it gonna have a gutter on the front?
It notes, yeah, it notes a front drain
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
option or an open air option.
But then again, where does it drain? If there's not a downspout, how do you do that?
Probably just gonna fall off. I mean, it looks like it just, like there's an open air. But then, so then that would have to be sealed off for, well, it looks like, I guess the front drain then would provide for a downspout.
Yeah.
Like that can be sealed. Which is probably fine, I mean, because it's not, the catchment area is only that,
Yeah, that's why a lot of those are.
probably just have some holes. And just,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay, so the second building will be the Tipsy Pink. This is the concept that was approved last month with the historic white and the Rachel Pink. And the applicant is wanting to bring back a different concept because the historic white is not fitting with the vision of the project here and the sign. They're wanting to do a high reflective white, which I have asked them to bring a sample of that so you can visually see it. The option one is to keep it the same as what we approved last month. Option two is to allow for the high reflective white instead of the historic white. And then option three, they are wanting to not only paint this part here, but they're wanting to do this upper stucco above and below the window here. And then this here is where they're wanting to clean and restore the brick, and it's outlined here. You can see in the other pictures that it is severely weathered. So they either want to clean and restore it or paint it like for like, the same that is up here. And this one does appear that it was painted at some point in time, I just can't find when it was. All right. So staff is recommending approval with partial denial of painting any brick or stucco on 210 South Chadburn, and approval for the colors, dimension, materials to be upkeeping, and the applicant shall obtain all required building permits and inspections and an encroachment agreement for the awnings, which they have submitted their applications for. Any questions?
Any
So
questions?
is it just that the sign background itself is the white, and so that's why they're wanting to change?
Yeah, the color concept here, this one's brighter and would match the awning and that sign a lot better than the historic white that seems to be a little dimmer. And there it is. That one has more of a tan hue to it than white.
So go to option 2. Option 1's the one we already approved, correct? So option 2, go to option 3. Where is it? Yeah, that. So they wanted to paint that stone lintel above that window.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
Sure.
Okay.
So everything else is the
And
same,
then-
it's just they're not painting the,
And then is there a 4?
No, it's just these 3 options. And then this is to clean and restore that brick, and
Okay.
they have outlined it. That way you could see what areas they were talking about that were weathered.
yeah, I looked at that. The brick on the left and the right's fine, it's just that stuff underneath that window. That's where it's an issue. If it can't be cleaned up, you know.
For what it's worth, I was looking at that too, I think that lower brick, like on the left-hand side where the mailbox is, and potentially that upper just below the window, I don't,
Right here.
yeah, that, it looks like that was never veneer brick. That was, looks like there was stucco or something in front of it at some point, and it was removed, and so then that was the.
On that, well, it is
that was
on
some sort of
the,
a
it is on
vacuum.
the other building. They
Yeah.
plastered over there and they just painted the grout lines on it. But that,
So that's exposed brick, but it wasn't ever intended to be like a facade or veneer face.
yeah, like a finished brick, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like a rough and then
It was just a rough,
they
yeah.
were either gonna put tile or something on top of
Yeah,
it.
or maybe there's a veneer brick that got damaged.
Could have been
or
something
stucco or
on it.
something.
Yeah, something. Can you go back to option 2?
Sure.
And again, apologies for walking in late. I was held up at my job. Yeah, I'm probably not the only one to feel this way. I do see the differences in the white. It is much warmer and much dimmer with the original approval. And just my greater hesitation is with painting the stone. I have much more hesitation painting the stone than I would approving the high reflective white because it does match better, the white with the awning. I just hate to paint over this historic stone. You just can't undo that.
I
But
agree.
What is it? Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? Is there any public comment on this?
Yes, we do have Danielle and Cindy here.
Okay. Please come up. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Cynthia Olin. I'm the one requesting, I'm the owner of the building.
Okay,
Danielle Villegas, the designer.
okay. So what do you have right there, that
This
metal
is
is?
Yeah, material for the awning that you're wanting. It's gonna be black, which I have the color samples again, but just so y'all could see the actual material. And to answer your question, this is an outsourced company, another state. So they mail us all the material, we have someone put it together, and our electrician does the halo lights.
Yeah,
So
so-
they don't cut it out, our electrician will.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a gap. He's wondering make sure there's gonna be a gap in the
Yeah.
awning where you can fit that fixture up in.
Yes, sir.
So there would essentially be 2 layers of
Yeah,
that, right? It'd be like a sandwich of it, and then the lights would then mount into the underside.
But can I see that, because this is,
That's our panel,
yeah,
yeah.
that's just our panel. You can buy this locally,
Which, I mean,
but that's not what's on the plan. That's what I'm
No, this
saying.
is what they're making it out of. This is.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
the drawing that you showed us is not our panel. It's just
do you know what elevation it'll be at? I mean, it's gonna be up about 11 feet.
it has to be minimum 9 feet
Okay,
Yeah, it's a little higher.
by code.
yeah.
Go back to the picture, do you mind?
I mean, is there any way that, the only problem with that stuff right there, whenever you cut a light into it, it's not, there's no flat panels on it. If you would do, let's see, there's our panel and then,
There's like
So
a
this
flush
is
panel.
just the type of
well,
metal,
they
this
make
is
it-
not the what
what's
it's
that
gonna look
called?
like.
Yeah,
You know, because like what's on the drawing, It's flat, so when you
Oh,
cut
sorry.
into it, see, when you cut into that, you're gonna have a light.
It's gonna be flat on the bottom. This is just to show you the material.
Because
Oh,
remember,
okay,
y'all.
so that's not really what.
No, it's
okay.
gonna be flat.
It's coming from another state, but we
Okay,
sourced
okay.
it locally for the
Yeah, it's
exact
just
type of
metal.
metal.
For the metal, because
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so it
sample
will
of the
be
metal.
flat
Yes,
on the
sir.
bottom?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
with the recessed lighting in it. The
Okay.
Yeah, we
lighting.
just could not get the actual flat from the
Yeah.
company in time, so we
They do send
contacted-
samples, but it takes them a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
because
so
you can
we-
actually get that local too.
Yeah, that's where we got it. We
Yeah,
showed
okay.
him the renderings and the material and he gave us,
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't gonna be
no,
that.
it's flat.
Okay, okay.
Would you like to see the color samples for these two colors? Okay, I pass those around. Sure.
Does anybody have any questions about the colors? I like the colors better. I think it's more consistent.
So much darker.
Pretty dramatic for,
Well, and the Dark Knight is. My brain is fried. Basically, the lower level interior, right? And the naval is everything else.
Absolutely, yeah. And here's, I'll just pass these around.
Yeah, it's sharp looking.
Okay, my brain's going back to what did it look like originally or at last iteration?
That dark, it's gonna take some.
yeah, we don't have the original,
Yeah, we didn't do a rendering. We just gave you guys the colors.
no,
so
I
that-
know, but do we have the original, what we saw last time compared to what we're seeing now?
Not in these slides,
Okay,
but
okay.
yeah.
Would you like to see the other colors from last time to compare or? I don't know if it matters.
I mean, to me, I don't see this any different than just black. I mean, it's a dark color. I like the contrast. I think it's pretty. I like the gold with it. And so the sign will be backlit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Not face, so just on the
Correct.
back side?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What is that sign made? What is it, aluminum or bronze, what is that?
No, so we could do it out of, a couple different things. We could do it out of metal, but the
No,
one that you got the
it's
foot on.
I thought we had that on the last one because that
Like an
was-
acrylic sign, maybe?
acrylic.
Yeah, we could do
Okay.
acrylic or metal.
Yeah, it's
The one that
acrylic.
you saw is acrylic though.
And so it's lit up from the back. Well, that's pretty. Do we need to vote on these separately, or, okay, well, let's stick with this one here then. Does anybody have other questions about this one? I like it. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to 210. I think on this one, I looked at that brick on there. Can we go to option 2? Oh, that's option 2? Okay, let's go to option 3. No, where's the one where they painted the brick above that, there, that one? Which one is this? No option?
It looks like that's all
Yeah.
white and then just the brick.
Yeah.
So the
I don't know
high
about.
reflective
yeah,
white.
Sorry.
Yeah.
About painting the stone on top. I don't have an issue with painting that brick underneath. I don't, unless they want to try, it says clean and restore. I mean, if they could clean it, because the other brick that's around the building has not been painted. So if they could get that to match the brick on the top and the sides, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, is this
You
the
know.
option where you can't clean the brick? I mean, that's essentially,
Well,
it's
then
not
they
an
would.
option, but
Yeah, well, it
this is.
says, or they would paint it. That would be my sex deal. If they can't clean it, then you could paint just that strip above there and maybe that one deal on the left,
Yeah.
that panel, but.
Yeah.
But I'm not for painting that stone.
Yeah, this looks like the
At
option where you
all.
can't clean the brick, so you paint it all widely, but yeah, that stone,
Yeah, I think you could clean that stone up too. It's not gonna be white, but it also will match what's up on the very top. You know, see that stone up there, and I think if you paint that, then you've got a whole different deal going on.
What happens to the right on this picture? There, it doesn't look like there's a matching column. It
I
looks
think
more
that's
like
the
there's-
adjacent rock, is that
The other
plateau right
building.
there?
Yes, sir.
There's another little
Yeah.
door right there.
Okay.
So it's
like
kinda
a
offset.
Pilaster and a,
Oh, on the
On
left.
the right is the building next to it.
okay.
Yeah,
So there's not a way to get symmetry out of this.
unfortunately not, no.
can we go back to option 3 again? Sorry, thanks.
I will say though, that they painted that white, so I don't know if this is an older picture, but that is a little whiter than I think it looks in that picture, the neighbors. I don't know if you've been there, what is the name of it again?
Plateau Brewing.
Plateau Brewing, it's pretty white.
Yeah.
It's gonna match the high reflective white. So that might be an older picture of the side there.
You know, what do y'all have a thought on the reflective white?
Do you have those
Real
samples?
white.
Yes.
It's very,
You have
You like that?
So the historic and then the high reflective is there.
Yeah,
And
let's-
so-
Let's see that.
I don't
And so,
love reflective.
it seems like
in
the
general.
sign is what's driving the ship there, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
But
the
the
sign
sign-
is gonna be a white acrylic back with
Metal, white metal.
white metal.
And it's backlit as well. So where it says Tipsy Pink, it's like cut out, and then the backlight's what highlights it.
Okay.
It's hard to see, but one of the reasons the high reflective white we feel looks better is because the neighbor next door is bright white like that. So it's real bright on the right side already. And so the other white that we have there, it feels real dingy next to that specifically.
And the sign is not gonna be that big, correct?
No,
Yeah,
it'll be
that's-
the 25%, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's kind of drawn not to scale.
But also the white, the reflective white is what I'm using for the interior, so I just feel like the other white is more of a beigey white to me, so it doesn't really go with my colors, but
Yeah, that's the hard thing.
I
with
don't
the
know, now
historic
that seeing the, I don't really, the reflective white, I see what you're saying, but I was thinking it'd be like a car body finish white. It's not gonna be like that.
No,
It looks
Okay.
really beautiful in
Okay,
person. It's
then
not
that was
any.
my only question. If it was gonna be that shiny, I'd.
It'll be it'll be a flat.
Reflective
it'll be a
white
flat
to
or a
me
matte,
is-
correct?
Correct. Oh, yes, yes. No, no, I see what you're saying. No, no, no,
not
yeah,
glossy.
yes.
Yeah.
It'll be an appropriate finish. It won't be
I think the
shiny.
name of it's just high reflective, but that's
Yeah,
not
that's
the-
what,
Yeah,
that's
not
what
the
threw
glossy
me,
on
because
it.
we're
Yes.
doing some projects where it does look like a car
I mean, it's
body.
basically bright white, like if
Yeah.
you're talking Lowe's, like, everyday
Yes.
grade, it's
Yes.
the bright white.
It's essentially
Yeah.
like what's used in a lot of exteriors and everything,
Yeah.
correct, yes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the high reflective white too much. I mean, I like the historic white, but like you said, driving around the area, there are some other buildings that already have the bright white. It's just the stone, and the stone is a little dingy compared to the bright white, but I just don't love
Well, but
painting
it's a
stone.
stone color,
Exactly,
though.
'cause
Yeah.
you can't undo that.
and if you could repeat something like an off-white edge to your sign
Mm-hmm.
and make it look intentional, I
Yes.
think I would like that even better.
Yeah, draw it in.
I think it would just look more cohesive if the renderings were, if you had the reflective white in the area that you have there, and if the brick was restored or painted, it's probably going to have to be painted to match the upper brick, but then left the stone, I think it would look more cohesive. We're just seeing it all in bits and pieces, and I think if you did not paint the stone, but fix the brick, and then the rest of the bright white, I think it would be fine. And
I
then,
think
like
it'd be
she said,
fine.
put a little bit of that historic white around your sign to kind of tie into the stone. I think it would just look better. It's just hard to get all the pieces when, and not see it visually all together. So those are my thoughts.
And just a quick side note too, we are painting, in case it wasn't mentioned today, but you guys did approve on this side, there's that buffalo. And so we are approved to paint that. So we would use, this similar, if we had to, we'll try to restore it. We're afraid it's gonna mess it up but if we had to, we can use that same paint, which
Yes,
we're gonna
for the
get.
front, if you
Yeah.
can't
Yes, sir.
clean the front.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, is there any other questions for Kathleen? Okay, thank
Can
you.
you- yep.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you go back to option 2, because it looks like that's what we're gonna be. That's likely what we're approving right there.
Well, except that. well,
Except for the
when it-
brick part.
With the brick part.
brick
Yeah. part,
Either paint it or clean it,
Yeah.
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 We can tie in if we feel like it'll be pretty, if we feel like the stone, like you said, is off. I love the idea of adding it somewhere else to tie it in.
And can you go back to option 1 again? I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I think option 2 is good, because I mean, even the historic white's not going to perfectly match that stone anyway. I think it would look good with the white.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, somebody have any discussion, or somebody like to make a motion with the changes?
Make a motion that we go with option 2 letting them use the high reflective white, keeping the brick either restored or painting it on the front to match the top.
Below the windows.
Yeah, and below the windows, and leaving the stone untouched with paint, but maybe cleaned up.
Okay.
Donna, did you have a question?
Get everything in.
I was wondering, am I looking at stone sills below those windows, or is that
Yes,
wood?
that's stone, that's stone.
Okay, so that line would stay?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'd just like to see a repetition of that stone color. It could be the inside of the panels below the windows. It could be the edge around the sign, but somewhere else, just that repetition will give it more cohesion.
Especially if it's on the lower half.
Yeah.
Okay, then we need to put that in the motion.
You know, or,
Add that to your motion.
or you
What
could
Donna
stick with the
said.
antique,
Yeah.
the antique white and add the white in the windows.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Did y'all get that?
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Add the antique white where, I'm sorry?
Donna?
Or try and incorporate the color of the stone.
Around the windows, maybe doing an extra little border or something on it.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion and
Got it.
Can I get a second?
Oh, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we will go to announcements. The next regular, or is anything from staff, any report? No, no, okay. The next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled to begin on Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in the east mezzanine of the City Hall at 72 West College Avenue. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Or adjourn.